Hey guys, in this video today I'm going to show you how to install cams in an sr20 det, or sr20 just in general. What you first have to do is remove the rocker cover. So to do that we're going to have to, well, it depends on the car really, but for me I'm going to have to take off this pipe here, for example, the strut brace, and just the vac hose there, and then loosen off all the bolts. That's about it. So first we're just going to remove that, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so the rock cover is now off, as you can see. Just make sure you keep all your nuts and bolts in a container of some sort, just so you don't lose them. While you have your rock cover off, it's a good idea, if it's dirty in there, just clean out all that. Make sure there's nothing in there. I put new gaskets on there last time I took it off, so I'm not going to put any gasket or anything on there because they're still good. But if they're old and hard, it's best just to replace the gaskets, but you can just put gasket glue over the rubber and then put it back on. But if the rubber's still squishy, then there's no real need, but usually after time, if it's been on there for say 10 years, it'll be like hard as a rock and it's not going to do anything for sealing, so yeah, you're probably going to have to get a new one. Oh well, anyway, now that we've got the rock cover off, before we start undoing nuts with sprockets and that sort of thing, we need to get to top dead center. So how we do that, if you see down the bottom there, the main pulley down the bottom is called the harmonic balancer, and on there is some markings. Now this is an aftermarket harmonic balancer, but it's the same deal for even this one. What it will have on it is a series of marks, and what you want it to put it to is the second mark from the right, and that will be top dead center. Now you could be at top dead center, or you could be another stroke over. So what you need to do is have both cam lobes on number one facing outwards. If they're facing inwards, then you need to go one full revolution again, and then they'll be facing outwards, and then you're on top dead center. So I'll just show you how to do that, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, I've now set it to top dead center, which means number 1 and number 4 pistons are at the very tippy top, and number 2 and number 3 are at the very bottom. So as you can see, number 1 cam lobe on both intake and exhaust is facing outwards. If it was facing inwards, it would mean that number 1 and number 4 are fully down, and number 2 and number 3 are fully up. So you don't want that. That's bottom dead center. And you can see on my harmonic balancer, it's the second marker from the right. Now I've got an aftermarket harmonic balancer, like I said, but even on the stock one, it's the exact same. You might need to just mark it with a paint pen or scratch it, because it might be old and you might not be able to see the marking. So just to make it clear, but you can see on mine that it's the second mark from the right. Now you might have to readjust it because the engine might turn a little bit when you're undoing them, but for now we just want to, as close as we possibly can. Now to also clarify that we're in time, you can see on the cam here there's a dot there, and you can see there's a dot there. I've just marked it with a paint pen to make it a little bit easier to recognise. Now there should be 11 links from that dot to that dot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Also, the cam dowel pin should be at 12 o'clock on this one, and at about 10 o'clock on this one. So 10 o'clock on intake and 12 o'clock on exhaust. So you can see I'm pretty much out like that. Obviously, I can turn it over a little bit more to get this one at fully 12, and that will mean I'm at pretty much top dead center. So you can see on the marker there, and yeah, so it's not exactly 12 and not exactly 10, it's just a rough estimate really. You just want that harmonic balancer on the second one from the right. Okay, so now that we're at top dead center, we have to pull out the crank angle sensor or cam angle sensor. Before we do that, we got to mark it so we know it's pretty much put out back in the same spot. So you can see there's a nice area here for us to do it. So just put a hole punch, just get a stamp and stamp a little marker, or scratch a little marker with a nail or scribe or something like that, just so you can put it back in the exact same spot. And it should be pretty much exactly where you took it out, so you shouldn't need to time it much. but since you're putting in cams, you're going to get a tune anyway, so just ask the tuner, can you just please just check the timing before you start tuning it. Once we do that, we're going to loosen off the cam bolts. We're not going to take them fully out yet, we're just going to loosen them. So to do that, you can see on the cam here there's actually a hex, which is a 25mm or 1 inch spanner. So put a 1 inch spanner. I need to take off my rocker stoppers and put a 1 inch or 25mm spanner on there. It needs to be quite small, and then put a 24mm socket on the end and crack them off. You might need a hand, someone to help you hold the spanner on that side and that side until you crack them off. They're very tight and you don't want to put any stress on the chain, so make sure your friend is holding very tight, pushing the other way on the spanner when you do that. Once we've loosened the nuts off, the bolts, sorry, we're going to take out the cam chain tensioner. So the cam chain tensioner, you can see, is just behind this plug here. It's sort of hard to see, but it's got two 10mm bolts. This here, this is your cam chain tensioner. You'll be able to see it just down there, and as it says, it tensions the cam chain. So we want to remove tension off the cam chain so we can pull the sprockets off. Otherwise, when you try to pull the sprocket out, it's going to tension more and just pull it all in. So yeah, we'll remove the chain tensioner, and then we can pull the sprockets off easily. And what we're going to do, because I'm not changing to adjustable sprockets, I'm going to keep these just so it doesn't skip a tooth on the chain. I'm going to just wrap a couple cable ties around here just so it stays put on the sprocket. You don't have to, you can take the sprockets out, but it's just a pain, and then it's definitely not going to move, so this makes it a lot easier. So then we'll remove this, remove all the caps and squirters, everything like that, pull the cams out, put the new ones in, put the sprockets on, make sure it's in time, put the caps back in, and pretty much reverse order of everything, so it's quite easy. Okay, so I marked the casts and then removed it. Had to also remove my intake, just because it's in the way. Remove the cam chain tensioner, so here it is here. That's the cam chain tensioner, and when you replace it, push it down, and you see this little hook here, hooks around that pin there. So yeah, push it in with your finger or in a vise, and then hook it on, and then you'll be able to put it in, otherwise you'll never get it in. And then rotate the engine over by hand, or with a ratchet, until you hear it click out. Don't start the engine up and let it click out, because it might snap it, or it might not click out, and then your cam chain is not tensioned, and shit happens. So turn it over about 5 times once you've fully assembled it back together. Make sure the chain is nice and tensioned. So you see I've cable tied them here. I removed my rocker stoppers so I could get to that 25mm socket, and I just did it by myself, and they were actually good because I did them up to torques, like the correct torque spec last time, which is 100 foot-pound. So yeah, they're not ridiculously tight. 100 foot-pound is more than enough. I'm pretty sure I put Loctite on them, I can't really remember. I would imagine that I did, but I could be wrong. So just be very careful when you're removing this. You don't want to drop the washer. So it's sort of a bit risky actually, kind of filming this. I'm going to stop filming because I don't want to drop the washer down there. Basically, all you have to do now is remove these 2 bolts, pull the sprockets off, and then take the cams out, put the new ones in, and reverse order, making sure you lube up all the caps and put the caps in the exact same spot. Now, when you're doing up these little bolts again, they're very, very low torque, so be very, very careful. Use like a spanner or a ratchet only about that long, and don't even put any stress on it, just really, really lightly. Can't stress that enough. Just very, very light, because you can snap them very easily, so be very careful. Have fun. Okay, so the cams are now out. Just pull all the caps off and pull the cams out. So I've just laid out the caps just on this piece of wood here. I cleaned it beforehand. It's anything I had lying around. So they're the old cams there. Now, distinguish between the intake and exhaust cam. Exhaust cam has a longer dowel for one, but it also has a little cutout at the back. So that's how to tell between intake and exhaust. and that's pretty much the only way you can tell. So now I'm just going to put the new cams in by, there's still a little bit of oil left in there, but I'm just going to clean it out and put fresh oil in there. The cam should come with like some thick assembly lube, so just lube it all in the little bearings, and put some on your little lifters and stuff as well, so everything's nice and lubed. Because initial startup there won't be much oil there, so you want to lube it beforehand, just for initial startup for that first 20 seconds or something. So yeah, now it's just reverse order pretty much. Okay, so I got the cams all in, sprockets on, it's all timed, torqued, CAS is in, timing chains, tensioners in, everything. It's all good for the rock cover to go on now, and all the piping and wiring harness and stuff like that, and then it's ready to run. So yeah, in regards to the CAS and stuff like that, there's tutorials on Google and stuff like nissansylvia.com, I think, on how to do all this. So just do a quick Google search, and yeah, you'll be able to find out how to set all that and everything. I do have video as well how to do it. It's not the greatest video, but it does show you how to set it. Now when you put the cams in, just make sure you lube the things, and when you're torquing down the cam caps, start from the middle and then go like opposites. So that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one, and torque it down a little bit that one, little bit that one, little bit that one. Don't tighten it fully once, because you'll snap them. So you got to inch it down really. I did it probably about 20 times on all of them to get it inched down, because you don't want to put much stress on those bolts. So you just want to do about a quarter of a turn each time or something, and just until it gets tight, and then move on to the next one. So it will be loose, and then just as it gets tight, move on to the next one. You'll find the other ones will loosen up as well. So yeah, just inch the cams down. If you've got stock springs, it's a little bit easier, but because I have aftermarket BC springs, they're quite heavy, so it's quite hard to pull the cam down. Other than that, yeah, it's all pretty good. I put a little dab of Loctite on those two bolts and did them up to about 110 foot-pound, just because they're old. I just did a tiny bit tighter, but not much. Did about 2 rotations, and you can see, you might not be able to actually, that the cam chain hook is unhooked, so that's all tension. That works on oil pressure, so it won't actually get that tension until you get oil pressure into the cam chain tension, and then it'll spring out, because when you push it in to compress it, all the oil spits out, if you would have noticed. So yeah, once you get oil pressure back up, it'll spring back up. So your initial startup will have a little bit of cam chain noise, which is cam chain hitting this, and then it'll go away. So yeah, once you put new cams in, got to hold at 3000 RPM for about 15 minutes just to wear them in, and it's good to just do an oil change after that, and you're good to go. So next video will be a startup. Obviously not going to do it now, it's pitch black. My neighbours will kill me because my car is very loud. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.